What? What? Oh, oh. Good morning. It's Earlene. Can you hear me? It's Earlene Babcock, and I'm looking to talk to Mr. Ghosn. Mr. Carlos Ghosn. Well, I was going to write a letter to you, and I had a problem with my car, and I called the Nissan company, and I asked, because here at Flapjacks, Earl says, if the customer's got a complaint, you tell them, take it up with someone who can do something about it. I just work here, and we call Earl, and Earl handles it. And I figured with Nissan, if we had a problem, that since Mr. Ghosn was the president and the CEO of the corporation, then perhaps you were the person to take my complaint to. So I called the Nissan people, and I asked, I would like to send a letter to Mr. Carlos Ghosn. Well, I could be wrong, but I believe I heard a snicker. I mean, it might have been, perhaps the person has a condition, but it seemed like a snicker. It made me think they're probably not going to get you any letter. They didn't have an address for you. Now, how can you be the CEO of the company and nobody has your address? So my friend Wanda said, forget about the USPS. I mean, not that listen, I have great respect for the USPS, the United States Postage System. But Wanda said, nowadays, these kids, people are talking on surfing the waves. So Wanda said, listen, get yourself on FacePlace or MySpot or whatever, and send it out into the wire. No, it's not the wire, but I'm going to I want to send this out into the ethers. And I'm going to hope that Mr. Ghosn gets a hold of this letter because, well, it's not exactly a letter. I wrote a little poem for you. I'm no Ernest Hemingson or Jonathan Livingston Seagull myself, but I think sometimes it's a little special. I like to write poems, Mr. Ghosn. And you know, Mr. Ghosn, if I met you in person, I would just ask you one question. Here, I would ask you, do you think that your tremendous success has anything to do with the fact that all your life you've been hearing people say, go son? It's almost as if every time someone talks to you, calls your name, they're giving you encouragement. I mean, I think that might have some positive impact. And I was just wondering if you thought that I would ask you that if I saw you. Probably better than having Carlos Kaufman your whole life. Kaufman! But anyway, I'll get back to the point. I wrote a poem, and I wanted to get it off to you, Mr. Ghosn, so I'm going to read it to you. I'm a little nervous. Give me a sec. Okay. Here's my poem for Mr. Carlos Ghosn, the president and CEO of Nissan Corporation. While driving past the lot one day, well, something caught my eye. A 2003 Murano. I did not expect to buy. I pulled straight in to see this car I just could not afford, but the salesman did his job so well that soon I was on board. I drove her off the lot that day. My heart was full of pride. I did not have too long to revel in my brand new ride, for soon the car would make a scary noise, and in addition, the drivetrain was a mess and I would need a new transmission. That problem solved, I learned that this new car was trouble prone. I'd lock my car, I'd walk away, she'd start up on her own. My seat got stuck in forward mode and simply wouldn't budge. At this point, against Nissan, I began to hold a grudge. But wait, oh, there's more. And this one really takes the cake. How often in a Nissan does the steering wheel just break? I researched on the internet to file some kind of suit, for I was sure I'd purchased a yellow citrus fruit. I worried what would happen next and practiced my novena, wondering if this car had been involved in Storm Katrina. Insult then joined injury. The inside lights just quit. When quoted the repair price, well, I nearly threw a fit. So now at night when I need to see what's going on inside, I use a handy flashlight in my high-end fancy ride. I got rear-ended, then repainted. All was well until the paint peeled in the back to match the fake chrome-painted grill. I do the routine checkups, hoping trouble stays at bay. Within 2 weeks or less, I'm on the phone with AAA. Get rid of it, my friends and family all advise and moan. I would if I weren't upside down in my expensive loan. You wonder why I bother with the writing of this verse. This is not a threatening letter or a request to reimburse. At Nissan, I am sure that you take pride and do your best. So I just had to say these things to get them off my chest. I love your cars. I've been a fan. I respect the Nissan name. But my experience with this here Murano's been a shame. I thank you for your time, and though these troubles won't erase, I feel a little better knowing you might hear my case. Thank you, Mr. Ghosn. God bless.